What's up, team and internet people? Uh, Today I want to make a short video showing you how I do sky swaps for our real estate work and our real estate photography. Hopefully this is just a quick couple of minute tutorial that you can watch and rewatch a couple of times until you get it, but I think you will agree this is a pretty easy way to do this. After much trial and error, I think I've developed a system finally to take care of this. So I've got this photo pulled up here, and as you can tell, it's not a spectacular mansion or crazy house. It's just a really cool, really old house locally here. But you could tell that this should be a sky swap nightmare with all the trees and how it is fall and all these branches, and selecting the sky through that should be very difficult, and indeed it could be. But I think I can show you how to do this in just a few minutes. So on my other screen over here to the side, I've got another folder pulled up with some replacement photos. And all I'm going to do is drag and drop over onto the photo that we are working on. When you do it this way, it opens up as a smart object. And you can tell that by this X that goes across it. That means that you can size and resize this as many times as you want without worrying about pixels and lost pixel quality over time if you don't get it sized right the first time. One of the things that you can tell is I try to match up the horizon line close. It doesn't have to be perfect, but kind of in the same vicinity, so our horizon lines match. And you could tell, I think we got it pretty good there. So I'm going to blink off this top layer that I just drug over that says sky number 8, and I'm going to click on my background layer, which is the original layer for the house photo here. I'm going to come up to go to select, and I'm going to go to color range. One of the things before we start clicking around is this number 61 right here is kind of my magic number. Through some trial and error, I feel like this is the best spot to be, is on 61. And if you see when I go over the top of the photo, it changes over to an eyedropper tool. This is going to be my color selector. So whatever I click on, you could tell it translates that over into the selection. So if I click on the grass, onto the tree, onto the house, whatever I click on selects this over here. And this would be where my marching ants and my selection tool would be selecting on the photo itself. So we're going to come over here and select into the sky. And you could tell that there's some variance in the sky because there's some gray parts here that aren't selected all the way because it's not just a super smooth sky. So if I hold shift and I click a couple of extra times around this photo, specifically close to um, some of the tree parts, is going to let me get a better selection with less haloing. You can also tell that it's currently selected a little bit of the house, a little bit of the road here because it's all kind of in that gray tone still, but we'll take care of that in just a moment. So I'm going to back up and do that one more time. So go up to select, color range, and click on a couple of places in the sky that we want to work on, and click OK. And you can tell now that we've got a marquee tool around a bunch of stuff that we've selected. You can also tell that it's not necessarily 100% perfect because there are parts of this tree that aren't selected, and that may be because it's a different color range, or it was a little bit blurry from the wind, etc., from creating an HDR image, but it's not going to be a big deal, I promise. So come back over here and select, turn on the sky, and select the sky layer. Down at the bottom under your layer palette is this square with a circle inside of it. This creates a layer mask. Click on that, and you will see that we've already got a layer mask created around the tree, and it's not a bad selection, and it's got a little bit of blurriness, a little bit of haloing, but it's not a terrible selection as it is. So a couple things that we need to do though to make this a little bit more believable: we need to select on the layer again, go up to my blending modes, and change that to overlay. And now if we zoom in, you can see it's a lot more believable. If we need to go one step farther and get a little bit more of this in, if you take your opacity down to about 70 to 75, it's going to just keep blending this in a little bit more and more. So you can see that we've got a really nice selection there, and it looks better than that gray sky that was there already. So a couple of things is as we blink this on and off, we can see specifically in this area here, it is bleeding over onto the house. Not a big deal. So what we're going to do is come over and select on my layer, mask layer. It's the black and white layer over here on the side. And come to my polygon selecting tool over here in my toolbar. From here, I'm just going to kind of roughly trace around the roof line. It doesn't have to be perfect, just so we get kind of a rough selection. And now we have this selected. If I hit B for brush on my keyboard and paint black, it will take it off of the house. It's only selecting from where we have selected on the photo itself. Command D deselects, and now if I blink this layer on and off, you could tell we don't have it on the house anymore. One more thing we're going to do is Command E is going to flatten our file, and Command L opens up my levels controls. This is a minor thing, but if you will go through and make a minor adjustment, normally to make it a smidge brighter overall, it will make it just a smidge more believable that the sky and the house are on the same one. Anytime you edit both of those layers at the same time is going to give it a more unified look. So there we are with our house with our new sky swap, and feel free to play this video over a couple of times until you understand it, but you should be able to go through and do sky swaps relatively quickly now. As always, drop me a line if I can help you. My email is Landon, Landon, at daydreamphotography.net. Have a great day. Peace.